morning. Good morning. Blessings to you this morning. Greetings to you this morning. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We're glad you're here. It is Thursday. It is Friday Eve. It is Thursday. It's Thursday. I feel like the weeks are just going faster and faster and faster with just, I don't know if it's the hustle and the bustle of life. Now, I won't even just say the holiday season, but just life in general. So it is Thursday, December 15th, 2022. And on behalf of Purpose Journey Counseling, I want to say good morning to you again. Thank you so much for joining us. It is 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we are live. But whether you are catching us live at 7 a.m. or you watch this later in the day, later in the week, later in the month, or later in the year, or even next year, we want to say greetings to you again and good morning. My name is Dr. Natatu North, and I am the owner and therapist of Purpose Journey Counseling, LLC, which is located in Cincinnati, Ohio. So again, we're live. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And the YouTube link for this broadcast is posted on Instagram. So as always, we ask that you please like this video. Please follow us on the various social media platforms, whichever you prefer, whatever your preference is. But regardless of your preference, we ask that you please go on our YouTube channel, Purpose Journey Counseling, and that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Even if, again, like I said, you don't watch us, on YouTube, we ask that you please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And also, let's please share this video as well as any other videos you may see that you find to be inspirational, inspirational anyway, encouraging. That's the whole point of these messages in the morning. We want to just connect with each other and use social media for a positive purpose. And as also please interact and engage in the comments section. So today is Thursday, and on Thursday we have our Thursday thoughts. And I have to say that, my heart is heavy, but as I'm thinking and processing through how my heart feels, I want to share some thoughts with you on today, not just from the perspective of a therapist or a counselor, but from the perspective of a person. I want to come from that perspective as well, but I definitely want to have a mental health component. So we want to really dedicate this Thursday thought to what has happened in our world on yesterday for our Thursday thoughts. We do want to, say, again, dedicate this to Stephen, or Twitch boss, who, if you pay attention to any news platform, you can find out even on social media, who was 40 years old, and it's being declared that he passed away by suicide. So before we even go into anything else, I want to share this information. I know I usually share this on the podcast, but I think I'm going to start sharing this on a daily basis so that everyone has this. But I'm going to give you two numbers. One of them is going to be easier than the other one, but I'm going to give you two different ones. The National Suicide Prevention Hotline. There's more than one way to do this. And I want to make sure we have support as we're, this is our Thursday thought for today. The National Suicide Prevention Hotline is 1-800-273-8255. 1-800-273-8255. I ask each of you to put this number in your phone, or I'm going to give you another one, which is probably simple, but I'm doing this two different ways. There's a suicide and crisis lifeline number, which is 988. You can text that number. You can call that number. You can text that number. I want to give you both of these numbers, whichever you prefer. Again, 1-800-273-8255 or 988. I ask you and I implore all of you, please put these numbers, or one of them, whichever you prefer, put in your phone. Put it in your phone. Keep it in your phone. Save it in your phone. That way, if you're talking to someone and they need the number, you have it, you can send it right away. You don't have to Google it. It's easy to Google, but it's easier when it's already in your phone. You can just share the contact, share the information out. Please, 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 everyone put one of these numbers in your phone. So our Thursday thought, we're talking about suicide, we're talking about mental health, we're talking about Twitch, we're talking about this is what we're going to be, talking and thinking about today. I posted something on Facebook yesterday, and I really just want to speak from this perspective because I tried to kind of paraphrase how I was feeling, and this is what came out. And I want to just speak from this thought this morning. My heart breaks and aches for the brokenhearted who don't feel there's any way for their heart to be mended. Depression is real. Hurt is real. Pain is real. Mental health matters. Let's not take life, time, or each other for granted. Everyone is dealing with something. We say this all the time. You never know what someone is going through. You never know what people are dealing with. You never know the pain that people are experiencing. You never know the hurt that people are experiencing. And yet, a lot of us, we can be very mean. Some of us can be extremely dismissive. In terms of our care for humanity and our concern for humanity, a lot of us are lacking in that area. A lot of us are just kind of ignoring it. Some of us, we just say it, we speak about it, especially when something like this happens. And then, so his name will be, now granted, he was very popular for his dancing and, the Ellen Show and all those different things. We'll talk about him for a while, and then we'll get quiet again until something else happens. This happens far too much. And I'm going to go there this morning, especially with our Black men whom we tend to think are, they're going to be strong. They got to do this. And I think I would pray and I would hope that we are seeing that everyone is dealing with things, and mental health does not skip certain genders. It does not skip certain ethnicities. It affects everyone. We all have mental health we all have minds. So we all have mental health. Now, when we're talking about mental illness, anyone, and not saying everyone, but anyone could struggle with mental illness. But it pains me when people are dealing with it in silence or in solitude, where they can't speak it, or they're feeling like they're by themselves and there's nothing else they can do. There's no way to pick up the pieces. There's no way for anything to ever get better for them other than to take their own life. Because obviously death is permanent, at least in the physical sense. Death is permanent. So for someone to make the decision to take their lives, that means things must have come to a point for them. They've reached their limit and how much more they can take. So everyone is dealing with something, whether it's mentally, physically, emotionally, but they're all spiritually, they're all connected. Like we talked about this before. This is why it doesn't really matter what it is. Everybody has something. So let's stop saying this as a cliche, or you never know what someone is going through. It's true, but can we not use it as a cliche? And can we use it as, because everyone is dealing with something, maybe we need to change. And it's not saying that it's our fault as other people. When we see other people hurting, it's not to take the blame or to say the onus is on us. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is we've got to do a better job at making it normal for us for the pain and for those things for it to be normal for people to be able to reach out or even cry out for help, to say, I can't deal with this on my own. I need someone else. Why? Because some scars are visible and some scars are not. Some cuts, some wounds, we can see them. Sometimes you can see the wound, whether it's a mental wound, emotional wound, or a physical wound, or even a spiritual wound. Sometimes we can see it. Sometimes we see that. We see it. We know someone is hurting. They've either made it very obvious in what they say or what they do or how they're moving. And some people don't say anything. No one may know. And that's the part for me that breaks my heart, is for the people who feel that way, but no one has a clue that that's how they're feeling. And I did not know him personally, obviously did not know him personally. So I can't say that no one knew. I don't know if he had a therapist. I don't know. I don't know if he shared it with his wife or friends, colleagues. I don't know. But it hurts. It hurts to see someone hurting, or to see the aftermath of some hurt that was obviously unresolved in that moment, because at a blink of an eye, the hurt stopped for him. And then now you've got all these people. He's got family, he's got a wife, he's got children. I've been following TikTok, and I know he had a TikTok recently with his mother. So there's all these people, the world is, because it's national, international, probably people knew of him, but there's all these people that are left with scars. But the bottom line is, you can see the visible wound when the visible wounds are bleeding, but you cannot see when the invisible wounds are bleeding. We don't know when people are bleeding. And some of us, we're responsible for our actions. Some people are bleeding internally because we can't see them, and we're cutting on them, and they're already bleeding internally. But because we just want to be right, we just got to prove a point, or we're not paying attention to this, we're not attentive to that. Sometimes a simple text message to just say, hey, are you okay? And I know for me, and phones and messages, because of my schedule and me being so busy, it becomes very challenging for me to phone, text messages, all that kind of stuff. It's hard for me. And I have charged myself to do better. Even if it's just a quick text while I'm sitting there. If I was thinking about scrolling on my phone for a second, maybe I could just send a quick text message to somebody to say, hey, just to say, how are you doing? Because you don't know what someone is going through, but sometimes we actually do. Sometimes we know everybody struggles with something. So I would say this: if you're checking on somebody, guess what? You're probably checking on somebody who need to be checked on anyway. Why? Because everybody's going through something, whether you know about it or you don't know about it. So who is going to bridge the gap? There's a huge gap. There's a huge gap in mental health. There's a huge gap in just humanity in general. There's a gap to where so many people feel or don't utilize the resources, or are not able to utilize it, or it's just not enough. Because like I said, I'm not making any assumptions about anyone. I can't say if they were getting help, but we need to be the help too. And granted, you don't have to be a therapist, you don't have to be a counselor. You may help someone get to one, and then you still play your role. Because it's like we're all in this together. We're not separated. We're all in this together. So I might be the therapist, but you're still the auntie, the cousin, the friend, the confidant. You're still the support person. Because even in therapy, we identify who your natural supports are. Who are your supports in your personal lives? I tell my clients all the time, even if I see you once a week, that is an hour a week. You spend more time living your life than laying on my couch. So there's got to be more. Even to that, yes, therapy is important. I say it all the time. But there's got to be more than even just that. Because you have to have those supports outside of that hour session. You laying on somebody's couch, you still got to go home and lay on your own couch after that. So who's going to be there with you when you're on your couch? We've got to bridge the gap. And yes, we are all responsible. We are all accountable, because the Bible teaches us that we are our brother and our sister's keepers. It's not to say it's our fault when something happens. I'm not saying that, because it's not a blaming thing or saying, man, I really wish I would have checked on them, because sometimes it happens. And sometimes it's not suicide. Sometimes somebody just passes away and we wish we would have said more. But can we just do better on a regular basis so that maybe we won't be in those positions where we wish we did more? So at least on our end, we're trying our best. But there's got to be something. And I just want to encourage someone today. I'm trying not to be long-winded, but this is something. My heart is broken right now, and I'll just say this: you don't have to know someone personally for your heart to break or for you to grieve someone's passing. Because if you're a person and you find out that another person lost their life or took their life, the life is gone. He was 40 years old. I'm 38. So that hits different for me when I'm thinking this is someone, a peer, essentially, whether I knew him personally or not. To me, that's a peer, because we're almost the same age. So, few things. Let's stop being judgmental. Let's show love. I think that's self-explanatory in all ways. Let's stop being judgmental. Let's show love. Show it. It's an action. Let's show it. Let's stop being petty about stuff. People we're not speaking to because we disagree. I'm going to say it, especially in our families. especially in our families. Some of the stuff we're not speaking over is super petty. Let's grow up and get it together, because time is of the essence. Time is not promised. And there's going to be a lot more broken hearts if we can't mend some of these things and this conflict and the stuff that we're dealing with right now that does not even have to be an issue. It's time to stop it. I don't know how much more we have to see, how much more we have to experience before we get it together. We grow up. And I mean that from the pit of my soul. This is what we need to do, and be more intentional about mending these fences or mending these broken relationships, trying to stop this conflict and this hate and this hurt that we spew out of our mouths because we're upset. Let's stop it. Because a lot of times the people that we're spewing this hate towards, or frustration and anger in inappropriate ways, because I'm not talking, conflict is normal and natural, but some of this stuff is petty. It's super petty. Stop it. Grow up. Let's get it together. And let's stop being dismissive and be attentive to each other. Sometimes the signs are there. We see them, we just ignore them because we're busy. Or we just don't care, or we're just, oh, I'll get to it later. We put it off. We procrastinate. We got to stop it. We got to stop it. So again, like I said, my heart breaks, my heart aches, but I just want to tell you today, if you don't have someone to talk to, if you need someone to talk to, please reach out. And even if it's a friend and you're like, I need your help because I need help. I need your help to help me find someone. There are counselors or therapists who will see you if you don't have insurance. They'll work with you. Yes, some of them will work with you if you don't have insurance. Yes, some of them will work with you if you don't have insurance. There are counselors that take self-pay. There's counselors that take different insurances. There's resources available. We need to be the resource. Let's help each other. Let's connect. And if you don't know, reach out and ask somebody. Social media is so powerful. We use it a lot of times for the negative things. Let's use it for the positive things to make sure we're helping each other. I'm going to get off my soapbox this morning, but my heart is breaking. My heart is aching. And I just want to encourage you this morning and just say, whatever it is that you're going through, it don't need to stop whatever it is that you're going through, your life is too precious. Your life is too valuable. And even if you don't see it today, you don't feel like you have a purpose, you don't know what you're doing here, the pain just hurts so much, there is help available so that you can see that those pieces of your heart that have been fragmented, that are laying beside you or tossed all over the place, can be mended again. It might take years. I'm not going to lie to you. It might take you years to get to where you need to be, to where you feel better. But it's worth it. You're worth it. Your life is valuable. Your legacy is valuable. I don't care how old you are. I don't care what you're going through. I don't care what you've been through. God, when he created you, he made you special. He planted so much purpose and anointing in your life. And you got to be able to live your life to see it come to fruition. It's hard. I'm not going to say it's easy. There's stuff that people go through. I wouldn't pray on anyone to ever have to experience those things. But your life is valuable. Your life is precious. And let's do this together. You don't have to do this by yourself. You might feel like you have no one. These numbers, I'm going to put them up on the screen again. The National Suicide Prevention Hotline, the 1-800 number, if you want to call 1-800, or the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, 988. That's real simple, 988. You can text it. You can call it. There are people available. They will assist you in your present crisis, but then also help link you to a resource near you. People, we've got to do this together. We have to do this together. We were not meant to walk in this life alone, feeling lonely, cut, bleeding, scars everywhere, and no one's there with a Band-Aid or some gauze or just to put some pressure on the wound so it stops bleeding. Sometimes you're the person that puts the pressure on the wound. You can't take the wound away. Even as a therapist, I can't just take the wound away. But together, if we're all putting pressure on that wound, we're bandaging it up, We're putting the medicine on it too. We're not just trying to cover it and it gets infected, because sometimes the wounds get infected. We're actually trying to work together to heal that wound. We need to work together to heal that wound. So again, we want to say, rest in his arms, Twitch. I just pray for your family, for everyone who's been impacted by your life, and anyone else who we don't know about, because there's people that unfortunately take their lives all the time. We don't know about them. We're praying for your families. We're praying for your loved ones. We're praying for those who have been impacted by your lives. And I just speak blessings over everyone today. And my prayer is just that we get in this together, and that we don't just have to keep saying this, that we can actually see the change. So with that, our tag for Purpose Journey Counseling, it goes right in hand, and I want to encourage you to be loving, be kind, be compassionate, be intentional towards others as well as yourselves. We do have our podcast on Sunday, which I know will be a lot of a continuation of what we were just talking about, of hashtag from a Christian, hashtag from a therapist, Dr. Natato. I know this was long this morning, but it needed to get out. We needed to get out. So please share this with someone today, especially put those numbers in your phone so we can share that information. But conquering the holiday blues, I can only imagine just for this particular family what this means. This is Christmas time, and this just happened. So Sunday, 7 p.m. Let's be together. Let's be together. Let's be together. Share that information with someone. Let's do this together. So we do thank you so much for joining us. Lord willing, we will see you tomorrow for Friday Fun, live at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. As of right now, that's the plan. But if it shifts and God has me do something else tomorrow, I'm just going to put that out there. We might do something different tomorrow. So again, let's just put this out there. I thank you so much for joining us this morning. Let's have a very intentional day today. Very thoughtful, very intentional day today. Blessings and love to you. Blessings and love to those and your families and your friendships and your walks of life. But let's just be a support for each other. I'm going to leave this on the screen for just a second before I end this live. But God loves you. I love you. Let's love each other. In Jesus' name.